Davidson again. I'm with my son Tim Davidson, and we continue in the Few Minutes platform. And we're talking about the pastoral epistles. We're starting with 1 Timothy, and we're going to continue to read. We just got through seeing some of the standards of leadership, and now Paul, he doesn't merely stop with the standards of leadership, but he wants to talk about some of the but he definitely addresses some of the pitfalls, and here they are.
Yes, I'll be coming from chapter 3, verses 3 through 6. And it reads, "He must not be a heavy drinker or be violent. He must be gentle, not quarrelsome, and not love money. He must manage his own family well, having children who respect and obey him. For if a man cannot manage his own household, how can he take care of God's church? An elder must not be a new believer, because he might become proud, and the devil would cause him to fall."
Amen. We want to thank you so much for that again. As we look at that, Tim, we begin to think about the pitfalls. And man, is this so apropos for today? The bar is set so low in terms of ministry. All of us recognize, we were talking earlier in the text, Paul makes it very clear that he's the chief of sinners. That he, blasphemed. He persecuted the church. He's the chief of sinners. So we recognize that all of us have those aspects about us that relate to the fact that we are the chief of sinners. But once we are called to this standard, he's making sure that we no longer function as the chief of sinners, but that we begin to function with a consciousness, with a high standard of responsibility and accountability. And he points it out here in the text as we look at it. First off, the kind of person that we have to be, we talked about earlier. You can't be a person who is, addicted, because what that's going to do is that's going to make you act differently, and definitely you're going to do things that are going to be very irresponsible. The person is to be gentle, peaceable, free from the love of money we have here in the New American Standard Bible. How much do we see that today? That there's an extraordinary focus on money. Clearly you got to have financing to manage an operation of any kind, but it is well beyond that. In ministry, why do you need a V12 Benz? In ministry, why do you need the most expensive kind of watch and the most expensive kinds of clothes, so that you can show your colleagues how highfalutin, as it were, that your particular ministry is? And so there is a specific focus. We run into that in our ministry all of the time. People who desire to just be a part of it so that they can make money. And the fact of the matter is, if you're truly in ministry, pure ministry, it's going to cost you more than it is going to provide for you, let me tell you. And so that kind of focus gets everything out of kilter, and Paul was so concerned about that. He's got to manage his own household well. Now, man, depending on depending on what denomination that you're in, some of the denominational dogma is very strict on the kinds of things that can't transpire in your household. I mean, if you have a child that decides they're going to go buck wild and it's a teenager, I mean, you probably could not be in leadership in some denominations. Sometimes it means that your home breaks up. There's dissolution of relationship. There's a divorce. It could be any number of things. Again, it depends on denomination, church to church. All right, but this whole thing of managing the household well, it makes sense. This is also related to what we talked about earlier with femaleness. This whole thing about this person who manages his household well, all right, is just being consistent with what he said in terms of leading, in terms of what women do, in the confines of church ministry. And so this person has to lead their household well. You're not to leave your household, but to lead your household well. We see that as a major thing that we have there. And of course, the question is, if you can't do that, how in the world can you take care of God's people and be a leader to God's people? And then finally we have here, the person is not to be a novice. So often in ministries, it takes some time. A person may have been in entertainment or something like that, Tim, and that person joins the church, and they want to hurry up and elevate that person to the front of the church. It's the worst thing that you could have ever done. You're taking a person you know, and you're beginning to elevate them as if they come right off the football field or right out of entertainment, and you want to place them put them in a place of ministry that lacks wisdom, lacks spiritual wisdom, because the person is just a novice. No matter how great their testimony may be, no matter how many tears they may cry, no matter how much they may appear to be convicted, the person is a sheer novice. That's a mistake. These are the pitfalls. You know, in a very pragmatic way. Anybody can see them. Most people with a 5th grade education could even see clearly what those things are. That can be a real pitfall in ministry. May the Lord bless and keep you. Lord, we thank you.